What's going on, everyone? It's Alex here from Aleks Physio. So today we're going to actually be going over different types of gait aids and when to use them under what circumstances and some of the differences between the two. While working at the hospital, I've found that there are numerous different types of gait aids, and a lot of people have questions with regards to why they need to use one gait aid over the other and what benefits there are. Before we do that, but I need you to hit the like button, comment, subscribe for future videos. It really helps my channel grow and allows me to reach more individuals. I've made over 300 videos on various topics related to physiotherapy, and I'd really appreciate your support. So the first one we're going to do is a rollator walker or a four-wheeled walker. So as you can tell, this has obviously four wheels, and this walker is designed more so when freedom of mobility is the preferential means of movement. So what do I mean by that? It does have brakes that you can put on by pushing down on the handles just below the handles that you're putting your arms on, and to take the brakes off, you pull up. But this allows an individual, these are pretty common, it allows an individual to move along pretty freely. If somebody does have restrictions in terms of they can't put any weight on a leg, this is not a walker that I would recommend, just because it's not going to provide you the same level of stability as some of the other walkers that I'm going to go over. Obviously this walker is low for me, but it would be fit appropriately by having the handle height relative to your wrist joint so that there's just a slight bend in your elbow. The other benefit of one of these walkers is there is a seat, although we do recommend sitting only in emergency cases, because even though you can put the brakes on and have a seat, we generally don't recommend you sit in the middle of a hall or an open space, somewhere where you can press it up against something sturdy, and that's what the purpose of this component of the walker is as well. So this is the most common one. Okay, so that's the four-wheeled walker. The next one is the two-wheeled walker. This is actually a quite underrated walker that a lot of people don't know about coming into the hospital. This is a great one because it provides you the freedom of mobility that the rollator walker does, but because it has the two wheels at the front, and two solid legs at the back, you still have a lot of stability that you wouldn't have and support that you wouldn't have with the four-wheeled walker. So this is one that we would recommend for individuals who can't put any weight through their leg, or even if they can put some weight through the leg, because it allows you to really take the pressure through with your arms, and you don't have to worry about it sliding forward in front of you. So it's a mix of that freedom of mobility, but also the stability. So a really good walker and a common one that we recommend. The next one is actually a standard walker. So I'm not quite sure why some individuals still use the standard walker, or they are recommended to use one. I'm not a really big fan of this, and there's a couple reasons why. One of them is because it doesn't have any wheels, you have to lift up the walker every time. Now obviously when you lift up the walker, there's a period of time where you don't have any support or stability through your arms. So if you were to get dizzy or lightheaded or lose your balance, then this isn't very safe. Albeit, it offers more stability than the one with two wheels, but the general trade-off between the two is not one that I would generally recommend. So we usually don't use this walker at all anymore. It might have been common for individuals in the past, but right now this isn't a walker that we use, because you have to lift it up. It's very taxing on your body too, because you have to lift it up on each step. You can use it if you put weight through your leg or without, but just not something that we generally recommend. So those are the three most common kinds of walkers right there. There's a couple other ones. So this is actually called a Hemi walker. So this is for individuals who maybe have a little bit of balance issues and they can't put weight through one arm, whether that be they had surgery on their shoulder, their elbow, their wrist. So we need to give them something that gives them some level of support that may be more than just a cane, but not something where they can put both weight through both arms, because obviously they can't through one arm if there is an injury or a fracture or surgery. So, and this is also used for stroke patients as well who don't have use of one side of their body, which obviously affects their arms. So the pattern or the way to use this would be you bring the walker in front of you, you make sure all four legs are down, and then you just take a step and bring the other leg to meet up with it. Some people put the walker in front of them. I find that it's best if it's just kind of not directly at the side, but kind of at a diagonal. So this is called a Hemi walker. The next one we have is a quad cane. So this is going to give you a little bit more support and stability than a single point cane. And it is generally something that is recommended for people who maybe don't feel as comfortable with a single point cane but don't necessarily want to use a walker. So because it has 4 points of contact on the ground and it covers a wider surface area, than the 1-point cane does, it is going to offer you a little bit more support and stability. Okay, so that's the 4-point cane or the quad cane. This is the single point cane that I was chatting about. So again, same principle, but just 1 point of contact on the ground. The canes generally offload about 20% of your body weight. So again, for individuals who have issues with balance or a lower leg injury, this gives them a bit of support to offload through their arms, or if they get fatigued after walking for a period of time. And again, the principle is just when you're setting the cane up, that you have it in line with the level of your wrist crease, and you're taking pressure through your arms as you're stepping, usually with the other leg. This is one that you may have not seen before. This is called an alpha walker. So this one has a lot of similarities to the rollator walker. These are the brakes to put on for the wheels. A couple differences though. There is a forearm gutter here on both sides that just gives you a little bit more support versus if you were just holding on through your arm, so you do feel a little bit more secure in here. Obviously this is low for me, but just for demonstration purposes. So you'd make sure that the brakes are on, you'd stand up, take the brakes off, and then you would just be walking as you would with a regular walker. So again, alpha walker gives you a little bit more support than a regular four-wheel walker, and a little more nuance. So more so for individuals who maybe want something that has 4 wheels, but feel a little, or need a little bit more stability and balance. And by having more surface area in contact with the walker, it just gives them a little bit more of that sense of security. This is called a platform walker. So this is a walker that we tend to use with some of our individuals who have a brain injury or some kind of injury that can affect their balance and their gait pattern and their coordination. So again, similar to the alpha walker, you have the handles here in front, and you have, but instead of a forearm gutter, you just have a little bit more surface area. So again, somebody can rest more of their arms, they can rest their entire forearm versus just a part of their forearm on this pad, and there is more surface area that you can have in contact, again, if need be. There are brakes. The brakes here are actually at the bottom versus at the top with the alpha walker that you would put on first before you get moving and then take off. But again, principle is the same. You put the brakes off before you get up, and then again, you can just lean through here as you're moving. Okay, so again, this one is a little bit more novel and not something that you may have seen, but nonetheless something that is out there. So that's that. So there's our video. We went over a bunch of different walkers: the rollator walker, the standard walker, the 2-wheel walker, the Hemi cane, quad cane, single point cane, alpha walker, and platform walker. There's also crutches as well, but those are pretty common and self-explanatory, as I'm sure you've seen those before. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you've used any of these walkers or gait aids before. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and look forward to seeing you in the future video. Thanks for watching.